Hello. Hello. I was like, did I get the time wrong? Because I have done that once or twice before where I'm like, oh, I gotta go live right now. And then it's like, no, no, it's in a half hour.
Oh yeah, wait, were you waiting for me?
No, 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 no.
Oh, I was
I'm
like, wait,
just
it
a
said
minute or
no.
two
Okay, I was
late
like,
anyway because my mastermind call went over. So,
which is super fun anyway, because that's a fun call to be late for, or to be long on for.
oh my God, it's so fun. I'm so excited to have you. So I also
Yay.
was like, oh, my invite not go through because it popped up. That's been tech,
Yeah,
that
this
fun.
is my third interview of the day. Like I consolidated them all into one day. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like on fire. I'm like a little bit on fire right now. I'm like, okay, keep going. Let's go. One more, one more.
Oh my gosh. I know I need to pick an interview day because I have it down to like a couple of days, but it's becoming to be like too much, which is always a good thing. You are the first of three that I have today, so I feel that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm really excited to be here today. Thanks for sharing some sales information to your audience.
Oh, of course, because I know well, for anyone who's watching the replay, watching live, this is the series Thrive Over Survive, and it's simple tips to help manage your day to day and make your life, simple tweaks to make your life better. And working with Michelle has been one of the best tweaks that I've made in my business, just to go along with the wording, and having the confidence in my sales within my business and just having the confidence to um, reach out to people and look at sales in a different way has been such a huge change, not only for my business, but my personal life. So I wanted to be able to share that knowledge with my audience and your audience as well. So
Well,
I know.
before you even move on, you said the most important thing there that I don't think that everybody would probably did not listen to. So I'm going to bring it up. It's being great at sales and feeling confident in selling carries over to your personal life. It impacts your personal life 10 times. And I literally just hit send on an email that you are going to smile cheek to cheek to when you read after this, because it's like all about getting my son to eat broccoli and it's all about sales. Or my daughter. Sorry, my son loves broccoli. But anyway,
You're
you're
gonna
gonna
have to
love
use
it.
that tactic on my daughter because she does not like to eat broccoli or any vegetables. And I'm like, look,
But
no
I
big
love that
deal.
part of it.
So I can't wait to read that email because that is true. It does carry over, not just like the confidence piece, the mind. Oh, I love the filters.
Do you like the filter? I like to do. Have you ever played with them? Like which ones you like the best? I always just kind of think it's
I did
fun.
a heart one time. That one was fun.
You did
It
which
was
one?
like a this one, and it had like cute
Ooh,
little hearts flying around the whole time.
I just kind of think it's fun. I
They
mean,
are
I
fun.
think people also think, like, but then it doesn't look like you. And I'm like, well, it's still kind of fun.
It
Okay,
is.
whatever. Sorry, I was like playing around with buttons like a 5-year-old over here. Now it's snowing. Okay, I'm focused
Well,
now. I'm done playing with Instagram.
it's okay because Michelle is also probably experiencing a lot more snow than she's used to this year
Yes.
in Buffalo. I thought about you when I saw your post or your story over the weekend.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's not used to this because Michelle just went from California to Buffalo and it's a huge weather change. But
Oh yeah, it's like polar opposite. But you know what? I got my bright pink ski outfit and I'm gonna go skiing and I'm gonna have so much fun. I'm like, as long as I have an outdoor activity, like I'm
oh,
okay. If I don't have an outdoor activity, I am not a happy camper. But I do miss the 80-degree beach weather that all my friends back home in California are experiencing right now.
oh wait, I'm missing the sun immensely right now.
Yep,
Immense.
I'm gonna need to go get a spray tan and pretend.
I know. I'm like counting down to our first trip of the year, like once Lila's born, because we're going to South Carolina for
Oh,
like a couple
nice.
days, and I'm
Oh, that'll
so
be great.
excited.
That'll be
Yeah.
amazing.
But back on track because we
Yes,
will easily
I'll
get
talk
off
forever.
track. The sales tips Michelle's gonna share are like I was saying, they don't just change like your confidence or it will change your business, but it'll also change your personal life. And for me, that meant like the financial freedom, confidence in myself, you'll show up differently in your business because it's not gonna. Michelle really teaches if you don't already follow her, how to do it authentically in a non-sleazy way, which I appreciate so, so much. So without further ado, I'll let Michelle introduce herself and kind of give us a little bit more into the tips that she has.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Michelle Terpstra. I am a sales and offer creation coach and strategist, and I love helping service-based entrepreneurs create and sell their easy offers, their easy stacked offers. And what that means is that offering ways for people to work with you that are in aligned with you, but also in aligned with them. And what that means for everybody listening is that you're meeting leads where they're at instead of forcing them into something. So I teach and I sell high ticket, but I also have $47 digital products. If you meet leads where they're at with what they need, eventually they will become long-term clients for you, where the spend with you is much greater than anything else. And then also they're sending you referral business, which is so powerful in this industry. And I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to work with Emma. She has done amazing things in her business over the last year. And anybody who needs help with systems needs to go to Emma for sure. She is just a gift to entrepreneurs who want to thrive and not survive.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Yes, Michelle was one of the main reasons why I didn't give up in my business. And she definitely met me where I was at. And I am so forever grateful for that because I stalked Michelle for probably, not stalked, we were friends,
Yes,
for
you were
probably.
watching. I would call you a lurker.
I was definitely a lurker. I was like so unsure, and but I remember I like quit my job, and I somehow met Michelle in like some Facebook group. I joined it was like right when the pandemic started. It was one of your pop-up Facebook groups, and you did an event for the week, and that was how I like found you a really long time ago. It was like I still remember it because it was like there was like the LinkedIn day, there was a couple other
My
events, and
gosh, that was like the very first big event I did. And I did it on a whim on a couch in a hotel in Buffalo when we were looking for houses.
yeah, that was like the first way I found you. I don't know how I got invited or how I stumbled across it. And then I was like, I love her energy. I love like her personality. So I followed Michelle for probably a year and I wasted a bunch of money before working with her because I want to preface that too, because there's a lot of talk about industries and like in the industry, like making the right investments and making the right investment in knowing how to operate a sales conversation if you're a business owner is so, so, so important. And I think also making sure you're tracking your leads and filling up your pipeline because that's always a
And
concern.
And that is a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about today. All right,
God,
so the title of this live is 3 things that you should be doing every single day to keep your pipeline packed and what the 90-day rule means. Okay, so first of all, if you're brand new to business and you're not familiar with sales, let's define what a pipeline is, okay? Because that can be one of those really big words. So a pipeline is simply just a way that you track leads. So if you talk to somebody and you think they might want to work with you, you can easily just put them onto a spreadsheet. You don't need a really complicated software tool in the beginning, but you put their name on a spreadsheet. When you talk to them, you write down notes, and then you move them along the sales cycle until they're ready to say yes to you or they say no, and you move on to the next amazing opportunity. If you're not familiar with pipeline management, I actually have a free training, so just send me a message and I'll send you the link so that you can take the entire training because it is really, really important. Okay, so now you have pipeline. You know what a pipeline is. And everyone should have a pipeline if you are a business owner. It doesn't matter what business that you are in. Okay? These are the three things you need to be doing every day, okay? And I wrote them down so I wouldn't go on a tangent. Talk to 5 new people that you think might want to buy your program, offer, or service each day. That's simple. Yeah. 5 people, okay? 2, follow up with 5 people that you have talked to about your products, services, or offers. And 3, talk to 3 people that you want to be connected to. And this is the key piece, okay? Not every conversation you have on social media needs to be with someone that you think is going to buy something from you, okay?
That's a good point.
This is how you broaden your network. This is how you start to increase your exposure. This is how you get opportunities like this to go on other people's platforms to talk about what you do. So reach out and actually have a heart-centered desire to connect with people and provide value to them, engage with them, and build relationships. And then when you have a relationship, things like this start to happen. And I've already had, by the time you announced this live, I've gotten like 15 new followers, 3 messages, 2 new comments. Like just from one simple Instagram live, right? So think about if you were talking to 3 people who you could share your story with on their platform per day, how quickly you would grow your audience. And the more people have in your audience, the more opportunities you have to sell your products, offers, and services. Now, those 3 things might seem simple, and you're probably like, oh yeah, okay, well, I dare you to try it for 90 days and hold yourself accountable, because actually it can be difficult to stay accountable to even the simplest of goals like this, right? So make sure that you buddy up, get a buddy, have an accountability buddy. If you can't afford a mentor or you can't afford to join a program like the Sales Success Lab, at least go grab a friend and hold each other accountable to exactly what I just said, because the 90-day rule is super important. What's happening in my business in January is from my efforts 90 days ago. So
I was going to say everything that's happening in my business right now has been from the third tip specifically of creating those partnerships and just having those other conversations are equally as important because Michelle knows when I first started, DMing a lead seemed very terrifying to me. That was like a huge mindset shift I needed to make, but it was super easy for me to reach out to people and offer a trade or some type of extra value that we could collaborate on. So that piece is huge and will reap your benefits in the long term, not just short term.
Yes, it's like, and it will forever. So I really, really encourage everyone to do those 3 things and either, link arms with a coach or a mentor that you've been wanting to work with to do so, or just find a friend if that's the stage that you're in right now. But it is just so important that you hold yourself accountable to this. And so what I'm working on right now in my business will happen in March. You'll see it come full surface in March, right? And this doesn't mean that like if you go out today and you try to sell, it's going to take you till March. That's not what I'm saying. But the people that you probably met 3 months ago that you're finally following up with, those are going to be your hottest leads to be converting, because now the know, like, and trust is established over a certain period of time, and you're more likely to get that yes. Now, can you have someone come into your world tomorrow and say yes to you? Absolutely. Oh, yeah. But let's plan for a little bit more consistency in our sales than hoping the next person comes into our world tomorrow. And the best way to do that is to be accountable to those 3 simple activities and understand that your efforts now have a 90-day lag in a lot of ways. So go fill up that pipeline. And when that pipeline is full with 20, 40, 50, 60 beautiful faces and collaboration partners, I'm telling you right now, you can activate and sell out any program that you are ready to launch. About a year ago, I decided that I did not like traditional live launching. I've told the story a lot, but traditional live launching and I are like oil and water. I don't like it at all. It's way too stressful, too much pressure. And I'm an extrovert and it still sucks the life out of me. And so I just decided this time last year, I was in the middle of a traditional live launch and I canceled it halfway through. I just canceled. I said, sorry, I'm done. I don't want to do it. And you know what happened? I got more sales that month than I had gotten in like 6 months. Just because I stood ground on what was important to me and showed people they could do that too. And then that began my journey in creating a different launch method that was less stressful, more fun, and can be activated quickly within 2 weeks, which then led to my VIP day that I now offer to do that. And so if you are consistently building your pipeline and you come to me and say, Michelle, I'm ready to rock and roll and create this offer, you can sell it out in 2 weeks. Just like Amy Lee sold 35 group memberships over the holidays. Camille booked out her one-to-one brand new offer in 3 weeks. And people over and over again are having the same success. But the number one thing you need to do is be held accountable to those 3 things so that when you are ready to rock and roll and hit the pedal to the metal, you've got what you need.
Yes. And I can attest that, the pipeline management is the first key step in actually tracking that, like Michelle said, and staying committed to, I think I time blocked an hour every day when we first started working together. Now I don't have to do an hour every day, and it's more of a habit, so I don't have to time block it off. But it's just building on that habit of, okay, I'm going to reach out to leads on one day, or like that's how I did it, but you can do
Yeah.
all three on one day. So, because sometimes I'm like, I'm in the mindset of, I want to have this conversation, or I'm like, I just want to talk to people in a certain type, but it does reap benefits in the long term because you won't ever have that like feast or famine feel, is like what a lot of entrepreneurs I think would refer to it as, or that
Yes.
cycle of, oh, I'm really hot right now. I'm closing everything, and then you hit like a dry period. And if you don't have your leads documented or people that you've talked to documented, you're like starting from ground zero, and it's such a time drain, energy suck, everything. So that's where having your pipeline management in place is so crucial. I have my pen in my hand because I'm writing too.
Yes,
Our
no, you
notes.
said it perfectly, and you can take that spin on it too. Absolutely. You
Mhm.
can break it up into time slots instead and do single activities, and rotate what they are every day. Whatever works for you, just do it. Just go
Yep.
and do it. It will, I promise you, you don't need a fancy strategy. This will work if you just do this.
Yes. And then you can build to the more fancy strategies, as you said, because
Yes.
that's one of the reasons I loved working with Michelle. And I mean, I still do work with Michelle. I just love the aspect of you weren't a one size fits all. She really will work with you on a strategy. Like, you don't have to just live launch, you don't have to just DM. Like, when we start with the DM piece, just to, because those are the fastest ways to make some sales, and you have to be comfortable with it, of course,
Yes.
to make sales comfortable. You have to be talking to people, and then you can work on autopilot, because now I'm a living example of it. Is I have leads coming to me and I don't even have to work for them. Like, I had 3 discovery calls on my calendar this week, and I hadn't talked to anybody really prior to the calls. So like, it just comes full circle
It's
when you put it
amazing.
out there. And they were probably from some visibility thing I did months ago, like you're saying, and now the benefits are coming back
Yep.
for that.
And that's what I want for every single one of my clients, is to just never worry about where the next sale is coming from. Get off the revenue roller coaster and
Yeah.
enjoy the ability to love your business and your life at the same time. And I would really encourage you that if you look at your to-do list, and your to-do list is like 7 different courses you're taking and 3 different programs, you've got to cut out the shiny object syndrome, friends. You've got to get back to the basics. And one of the basics is sales. And it doesn't mean that you have to be brand new in business. You could literally be a 6-figure business owner right now, working way too much or not loving your business and being like, what am I doing wrong? And most
Yep.
of the time it goes back to sales, friends. It goes back to sales every single time.
Right. Sales is a huge foundational piece. And I talk to a lot of my clients about this, because the 3 key pieces are, because ops touches on a lot of these different pieces, but it's sales, marketing, and like how you're serving the product or service that you're providing. It's like, how are you delivering that? Those are like the 3 key areas I talk
Fulfillment.
about. Yeah, fulfillment, that our operations will support, but you need to have the frameworks and, the the pieces in place for the operations to like scale upon. And Michelle's
Yes.
giving great foundational tips. That's the word I'm looking for,
Yes.
because you just keep growing on them as you go. And so, and Michelle has great trainings for all kinds of different areas, but specifically pipeline management was the first and foremost. But once people kind of build upon that, what are some ways, because me and Michelle geek out about tech. So tech, tools, anything that you recommend as they are starting to fill their pipeline up and they're
Mm-hmm.
scaling. So if someone is in that point of, oh, I have a lot of leads and I just don't know how to scale this, or, what would be that like next step for them?
Okay, yes. In terms of some of my favorite tech is, I love ActiveCampaign. I love ActiveCampaign so much. It's the best email marketing system, and it combines a CRM. I talk about it inside my pipeline management, the free course, so you can check it out in there. I also talk about other things like text messaging. I also talk about group leads. If you have a Facebook group, how to manage how to manage your leads there effectively without having to hire someone to help you. That's a really great one. I absolutely love Thrivecart. It's a one-time purchase instead of having to pay a recurring fee every month for transactions in your business. There is like so many really, and Member Vault is free. So if you're wanting to create content but don't want to pay a monthly fee, Member Vault is free for the first 100 users, and you get access to every feature. And it's amazing. You host your videos on YouTube if you want to, and then you stream them in there. It's amazing. So if you're just looking for that, that's a great one.
That one is great. A lot of my clients use that one.
Yeah, Member Vault is amazing, and everything talks to each other, and it's really fantastic. So I would say those are some of like my favorite tech things. But when you get completely booked out of your one-to-one is when you want to start considering adding something that is quote unquote scalable, right? And I really do. I mean, some people are probably going to disagree with me, but I do think you should book yourself one-to-one, at least for a short period of time. And the reason why I say this is because you learn so much about what you can do in a scalable offer working one-to-one with even just a few people, okay? Right. I actually think that a lot of reasons why a lot of digital courses flop is because those digital course creators never actually talk to enough people to build the course. Okay. So even if you are looking to build a course and you don't have a huge passion for getting out there and doing a lot of one-to-one work, just do it for a little bit of time before you create your scalable offer so you can make sure what it is that you're creating is going to get purchased.
Yeah. And I think also the one-to-one offer, since those are typically higher ticket, it's easier for you to have cash flow. So that kind of creates less of the urgency that is sometimes around selling. I know I felt it. I know other people feel it. They're like, I just need to get a sale. So they're, rushing into bad things or like trying to force a relationship on like a client that maybe isn't ideal for either party. So you'll get that breathing room that you need in your business if you sell out a high ticket offer first and then work in the background of creating something more scalable.
Yes, exactly. So, Cynthia, you do it already. So one-to-one is your one-to-one coaching that you do. Yep, you got it.
Was that a comment? I didn't even see that.
Yes, I can see it. So Cynthia, you've already got it. And then if you ever took your program and had 5 people to come to one call or 20 people come to one call and you coach them through your same program in a group environment, that would be something scalable.
Yeah. That also applies for anyone who's watching who might be service providers, because I do have a lot of service providers in my network.
Yes.
You work with them one-to-one, build out your framework, build out your processes, and you can scale then by delegating effectively. So you're removing yourself from the day-to-day in the implementation piece. But you kind of have to live it first before you can just scale it.
Yes, exactly. So there is, Cynthia, I'm happy to chat with you anytime. The big thing for service providers is exactly that. So it would be like if you want to go down the agency model, or if you want to exactly hire team members to take the pressure off of you so you can take on more clients. You can take what you usually do in a done for you environment, create a digital course, right? So there's lots of different ways that you can meet leads where they need to be and to quote unquote scale, regardless if you're a service provider, a coach, a consultant, or a hybrid.
Yeah. And that brings up a great point that I wanted to ask that I wrote down and I forgot to ask earlier was because if you have, because Michelle's other signature training before the pipeline conversation is like it's her power of 3 training, but it's really a client ascension model, like you mentioned before, because you'll retain people. It's cheaper to retain a client than to find new clients. I've talked about that before in some of my content. So when you have like that downsell in some people's terminology, it's meeting them where they're at, but also being able to provide value and building that relationship. So any tip, I know you have plenty of tips, but one tip that you could share with us on that piece that, because Michelle has great ideas when it comes to not making it so hard on yourself. You don't have to create like some big digital product, because that's how I felt when I was working with her. It was, I don't have time to create a digital product, or I don't have time for this. So what could be my downsell in a sense that
Yeah.
converts?
So I want to
Right.
inspire everyone here. So when I first started my business and I had my Facebook group, I put on my sales hat and I said, okay, how am I going to get people into this group? Right? And so I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm going to put an exclusive training in my Facebook group and tell everybody I'm doing it. And hopefully people will come. Right? Like this is before I learned anything about Facebook groups. It was just like gut instinct. Come to find out, it's actually like a real strategy and it really works. Right? So I just did on a whim. I created a PowerPoint in Canva. Sorry, PowerPoint's my old school way of saying things in corporate days. I was in Canva and I created a presentation and it was really simple. And it was about how to create a simple ascension model in your business. And what that means is it's like having different levels people can work with you based on where they're at in their life or their business, right? And so an example would be like someone comes in and takes your $47 digital course, and then they take that and then they're invited into your high ticket group coaching program. So they take that. And then later down the line, they want to hire you to be inside your business in a different role or some kind of one-to-one offer. And then they go there. In the meantime, they've brought all their friends in too that are now following the same path, right? And it's this beautiful ascension model. And it's really important when you're service-based to have something like that, right? And that gives you the opportunity because you're not selling like deodorant, right? So when someone runs out of deodorant, they go get new deodorant. That's how people like keep clients, right? You're selling a service or a program or something. So you have to have a way to let people progress with you and need you again, right? And so I created this presentation and I simplified it because I noticed all the other business coaches talking about this very important business model were making it way too complicated. Way too complicated. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, stop the madness, right? And so I just simplified it, gave people templates, made it free, and I grew my group to like, I think we're at like 1,500 now, which is fantastic. Yeah, it's great. And it's still active, which seems to be weird these days. So it's active. And,
it's very active.
It's active. So I'm really grateful for everyone in there. Thank you. But anyway, this Power of Three training became like essentially my lead magnet, right? And and then what I did is I just took it one day and I said, all right, well, now that I've had 100 people go through it or more, 200 people complete it, all the comments were there. The Canva photos were there for submitting their offer stacks. Like everything was there. So I videotaped the whole thing in my, so that I had proof that this had all been done. And like you can do it on your screen, on your phone, if anyone knows how to record your screen. It's really awesome. So I recorded it and then I deleted it. And the reason why I deleted it is because I deleted it out of my group. I saved it, right? So the reason why I saved it is because then I just made some tweaks to it, re-recorded it, and packaged it as a digital course and started selling it. And I added things to it and all this stuff, but it took me one day. It was like one day I have this amazing digital course that now has become a staple in my business, not just for passive income, but also as a path to the Sales Success Lab and my other high ticket offers for people who do the Power of Three. So it was a really simple, organic thing that wasn't super hard, and everybody has access to that same thing in their business.
Yes. I love what Michelle talked about because this is something I work with clients in the sense of when you're in the weeds, you kind of people try to make things too hard on themselves or they get stuck. So you always can repurpose. I always challenge my clients, like, how can we repurpose this? How can we repurpose something else? Like, why do we need to create something new? If you've done these trainings or you've worked with a client on something, you can take what you've done with a client already and just take out their information and make it into a template, or, like Michelle was saying, a training is always great. But if you're like, I don't have a signature training that I'm ready to offer, you can create templates or resources for your clients, and that can be your low ticket or free offer to help them out and start building that relationship with them and getting that know, like, and trust factor.
And you can bet that once I figured out the magic sauce of all of that, that is part of the Sales Success Lab, friends. So
it is. It's the first and foundational step in the Sales Success Lab, and it is so perfectly placed, obviously. It's perfect.
And if anybody has any questions about anything that we've talked about today, like, just send me a DM. I would love to chat with you. And like, this has been so much fun, Emma. I love having you as a client, and you're doing such amazing things. And after baby number 2, hopefully one day we'll get to meet in person.
I know, I'm so excited to meet in person and be able to well, I hope we could do a group, like a live event like you had talked about too, because I was really looking forward to coming to California.
I know. Well, now I'm in Buffalo, so I don't know if it has the same beach appeal anymore, but we'll figure out something.
I do want to see your house because Michelle's going through a huge reno, and I think that's a good point is Michelle's built her business in a way through her sales, and this just ties it all together in a nice little bow that it affects other parts of your life because she's building her business simply. She's mastered her sales part, and it's giving her the flexibility she's undergoing a huge renovation in her home, and she's able to be there and present and do other things that she loves and have a better control over her life. So, and it's not going to happen overnight. To anyone watching live or watching the replay, it takes time. Don't feel like you have to do it overnight. It's the habits, the small things that you're going to build upon that are going to get you there. But I just wanted to do that for the listeners as they are, watching the replay, or if you're here live. That is one of the biggest things you can learn as an entrepreneur or business owner. It's the small little things that you can build upon. And I really do hope we can meet in person.
I know. It's amazing. And that was a great way to end it. You're absolutely right. Build on the little things and you'll have lots of success.
I know. Also, we did talk about Michelle's group, and that is a great way to find her and watch her trainings. If you follow her on Instagram, you will also get some of that content. But can you tell everyone what your group is called? Because we didn't mention that earlier.
Yes, it's called From Hello to Closed. And just go search it in the bar and you will find me. Or you can go to my bio and hit my link and it'll take you right there.
Yes, Michelle's profile is optimized for that.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me, Emma. This was a blast.
It's always a blast talking to you. I love that we got to connect. And if you have any more calls, I hope they also go as awesome.
I have one more today. Okay.
Thank you, Michelle.